Hi, everyone. Today, I'd like to go through some of the practice strategies that we've learned in class and discuss how you can apply them to your practice time using SmartMusic. Now, I want to remind you that SmartMusic is a tool to help you with practicing. So, first of all, don't get discouraged with that first score that you get. If you were getting a 99 or a 100 the first time, you wouldn't need the program. The idea is you might start with a lower score and over time will get better. And so I don't want anyone to get discouraged if you get a low score the first time. The second thing is you're not really helping yourself by just recording an assignment once and turning it in. The goal of this is to improve. And you might not know this, but on the teacher end, I can go in and see how long you've spent practicing. So if you handed me in a 2-minute recording and only played for 2 minutes that day, I'll know that that doesn't really represent your best work. So just keep that in mind. We want to use this as a tool to help ourselves improve as musicians. And so let's go through these strategies. If you're in my class, you'll recognize these. We have them hanging up on the wall. If you're not, these are still good tools to use as you are practicing. So the first strategy is called the over and over. And this is where you pick a difficult passage and you play it 10 times in a row. And over those 10 times, you should see some improvement. Now, the tip to this is to make sure that you start slow and then gradually get faster. Sometimes just playing the same thing 10 times fast, you won't see any improvement. So let me go into this actual piece on SmartMusic here. This is a high school orchestra piece called Incantations. And you can see measures 90 through 93. They look like a bit of a challenge. So if I wanted to do the over and over, I would click into the loop feature. I'd click set. And then, hang on a second, you have to select your measure first. You click set and then drag it all the way to the end of the line. Now SmartMusic will just play this line of music over and over again. This is kind of a good thing to help with self-control because I know sometimes it's really hard to not keep going, and sometimes we need something to help us just kind of keep going back and back in that loop. So I think this loop feature is a very good thing. Now, I mentioned slowing down the tempo. This piece normally is 86 beats per minute. You can maybe go to half, 43 beats per minute. And remember, with over and over, just because you do it 10 times one day doesn't mean you automatically have it. You might play it 10 times at 43 beats per minute today, and tomorrow try to speed it up a little bit, right? So it's not an instantaneous thing. But that's a good way of using over and over. One more thing. Sorry, I forgot this. You can either click play, which will just play it over and over again, or if you click record, it will input your notes each time and show you if they're green or yellow or red. That would be probably a good thing, is to hit the record button. You can also click uncheck the use count off between loops. That will just, you'll play it and it will go right back, and it'll play it and it will go right back. If you have the count off on, it will count you in each time. And like this is in 5/4, you'll have to sit there for 5 beats. It's your choice if you want to do that or not. Maybe I'll just recheck it for now so that next time it's on there. Going back to our presentation here, the next strategy is Itty Bitty bits. Now, this is an even more precise version of the over and over. When you do Itty Bitty bits, you're going to break the music into very small bits. Normally 1 measure or less, depending on the type of music. And you're going to play each bit perfectly and then start to piece them together. So if I go back to our incantations here, if I was going to break this into a bit, the first bit would be these first 6 notes. And you actually can make the loop feature smaller than a measure. So you can put your starting and ending mid-measure, and it will go back and keep doing that. Again, you could do it slower or faster. So my first bit would be these first 6 notes. My second bit would then be the next 4/8 notes, and you can drag like this, and it will only play these 4 notes. Once you get both of the bits perfect, then you would expand it to be the full measure, right? Then you would move on to the second measure, to measure 91, and do these 6 notes and then these 4 notes. So again, Itty Bitty bits is like the over and over, but it's for a section that maybe you need to do a little bit more detail work on. So that's how to do the over and over using SmartMusic. Next, we have be a detective. And this is a really important one, especially now when I'm not here to listen to you all the time. You can send me your recording and I can give you feedback. But the nice thing is that SmartMusic will give you some feedback. So when I'm not there, you can still have a little bit of feedback from that. When you use the be a detective strategy, you're looking at something that doesn't work and you're trying to figure out why it's not working and what you can do to make it better. So going back here to our SmartMusic piece, let's say every time you play this B flat, SmartMusic marks it as incorrect. It says that you're playing a B natural. Okay. Being a detective, you're going to think that, oh, that means that my fourth finger is too high. I need to back it up a little bit closer to my third finger. And then you can do it again and see if that fixes the problem. So the good thing is you're not on your own. SmartMusic really is leaving you all sorts of clues, and then you have to be the detective and pick up on those clues and figure out how to change them. The next one is a little bit different because SmartMusic is just listening to you. It's not watching you. So you might think that posture doesn't matter, but because oftentimes we think posture is just how we look, but it really does affect your tone and your intonation. So for string players, if you're not playing with the tips of your fingers and nice round fingertips, your notes will sound flat. It's the same thing as if you clap your wrist, right? Your notes will be flat. And then SmartMusic will pick up the intonation issue. And the only way to fix that is to fix your posture. So before you play anything, make sure that you're sitting the way you're supposed to, that your bow is in the sweet spot, all of those things that we've worked on with perfect posture. The other thing about tone is that I've noticed that the program, if you don't have a really nice full tone, it sometimes will just mark the note as wrong. Even if you just have a little bit of a weak tone but play the correct note, it'll still mark it wrong. So we want to make sure we have a nice full tone as we're playing. And last, do I like it? This is when you ask yourself if you like how a section sounds, and you're asking it in the context of if you're playing what the composer intended, right? We don't always like the way pieces sound, and that's okay, but it is our job to honor what the composer has asked us to do. So I'm going to give you an example of this, where SmartMusic may have said you're doing something correct, but you might have been missing out on what the composer was asking you to do. So this section right here, this pizzicato section, first of all, is supposed to be piano. Now, I believe SmartMusic will pick up on the dynamic differences, but it also has a very specific accent pattern in this section. And SmartMusic isn't going to pick up if you play the accents, and if it does, it's not going to be super accurate. So you could get a 100 on this passage. You could say you're doing it all perfectly, but if you're leaving out the accents, you're not doing what the composer has asked you to do. So as you're using the do I like it strategy, you're looking at what the music is telling you to do and making sure you are following all of those directions. So those are the 5 strategies we've gone through so far. We might add more as the year goes on, but for right now, I think this is a good start to help you as you're practicing using the SmartMusic program. And I'm excited to see how we see improvement in scores by using some of these strategies. So have a great day, and thank you for all of your hard work that you've been doing with SmartMusic.